My pulse raced as I watched the security feed. There they were, my family, laughing in my ballroom. Cousin Anastasia twirled a champagne flute, her voice dripping arrogance. Pulling strings isn't hard when you know the right people. Poor Trina could never afford a place like this. Poor. That was the word they branded me with. The excuse they used to exile me from their dinners, their parties, their lives. Yet there they stood, high on marble floors they had mocked me for never touching, floors I now owned. I hadn't always been the outcast. As children, Anastasia and I were inseparable. She had money, I had dreams. I thought loyalty ran deeper than inheritance. But the day my father's business collapsed, she vanished, along with everyone else. I remember her smirk at a family gathering. Some people are born to host galas, others to serve at them. Laughter roared around her, and I stood frozen, heat burning through my veins. That was the last night I attended. They called it survival of the fittest. I called it betrayal. I left quietly. No goodbyes, no explanations. Just a promise whispered to myself. One day, they would choke on their own cruelty. I built in silence, worked through nights they spent drunk on inherited wealth, invested when they wasted, learned when they mocked. When my first hotel opened, no one noticed. By the time I had 3, they assumed it was coincidence. When I acquired this one, the crown jewel, I kept my name buried under layers of shell companies, hidden, untouchable. Tonight was the moment it all converged. The cameras caught every detail. My uncles trading gossip at the bar, my aunts flaunting jewels they could barely afford, and Anastasia center stage, telling the story of how she pulled strings to secure the most exclusive ballroom in the city. They believed they owned the night. But every glass of wine poured, every chandelier lit, every violin note drifting across the hall, all of it was mine. I straightened my Armani suit. It was time. The double doors opened with a low groan, and the room turned. I walked in, slow, measured, every step echoing, every eye following. Anastasia's smile faltered, just slightly. "Trina," she sneered, "what are you doing here?" I let the silence stretch. Then calmly, "I live here." Confusion flickered. Laughter rose from a corner, uncertain, mocking. "You live here?" Anastasia pressed, her voice sharp with disbelief. I walked past her, toward the center of the ballroom, and snapped my fingers. The hotel manager appeared instantly. He bowed. "Good evening, Miss Trina. Everything is running exactly as you instructed." Gasps rippled through the crowd. I watched the realization crawl across Anastasia's face. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't chance. Her voice trembled. "You own this?" I didn't answer her, not directly. Instead, I looked at the family that once turned its back on me and spoke evenly. "Do you know what's funny? For years, you said I was too poor to belong. Yet here you are, toasting your successes in my ballroom, dancing on my floors, drinking from my glasses." Silence. No one dared move. I leaned in, my voice low, deliberate. "I built an empire while you laughed at me, and tonight you walked right into it." Anastasia's hand shook as she set her glass down. Her mask cracked. "This isn't possible," she whispered. But it was. Because while they lived off yesterday's wealth, I was building tomorrow's. I raised my hand again, and the music stopped. Every server froze. Every light shifted, spotlighting me in the center. I let them sit in that discomfort, the kind I knew too well. Then I delivered the final blow. "You've mistaken my silence for weakness. But empires, true empires, are built on silence. Tonight, you finally see whose empire you've been stepping on. Anastasia's face drained of color. The room trembled with unease. But I felt nothing. No rage, no trembling hands, just calm. Because this was never about their approval. It was about mine. I turned, leaving the same way I entered. The doors closed behind me, sealing them in with their shock, their shame, their unraveling pride. My phone buzzed before I reached the car. Calls, messages, pleas. I ignored them all. Looking back now, I don't savor their humiliation. What I savor is the shift, the power reversing hands without a single scream or threat. I walked in as the exile. I walked out as the empire. And in that silence, I found everything they once told me I'd never have. Respect, power, freedom.